Welcome everyone to Class 1A. My name is Dylan and I'm joined by the wonderful James after so many months. We got you back, buddy. How you doing?
You got me back. I'm doing good. I'm not settled yet. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'm not settled in at all yet. But I'm in a situation where I can start recording again, so I jumped on the first opportunity I could. I'm so pumped to be back.
Yeah, for everyone watching, obviously they see where you're at right now, but for anybody only listening, James is actually recording in what can only be described as a pitch black cave, I think. That's what it sounds like at least.
Yeah, I know the echo really paints the picture. It's a very empty apartment. It is very it's very empty. If in the shot, all you can see is basically myself. And can you even see the shoes? I don't even know if you can see the shoes.
I don't know. Can you see the shoes? Absolutely not. You cannot see the shoes. It is
Okay, cool.
totally out of frame. So it is just it's a blank apartment.
It's a blank apartment. Yeah, that's it. All my stuff comes in like the middle of August, so
So, like,
I'm
in all these months, you've been
yeah.
gone, you've been off into the ether, in the void, on adventures. Have you been watching anime? What have you been watching?
I've honestly, so I haven't been watching a lot. I went through this period where I bendered all of Blue Lock. I
Oh,
read
wow.
like up to current. And that was literally like I was reading like several chapters a day, and I just couldn't stop. I could not stop. I became hooked on that manga so fast. And then if I'm not, that's a lie. I did watch Saibuki Bisco.
Hmm.
Really like that. It was a really fun series that was tied up in like 12 episodes. And I'm trying to get caught up on Fire Force. That one has always been. I know it's hit or miss for a lot of people, but for
Yeah.
me, I really like the combat. I really like their use of sound. I think it's definitely one of
Their
the more
sound
unique
is
ones.
next level.
It is. It really is. I think that series really is like peak for like sound mixing and everything like that. So that's the other one I'm trying to like finish up right now. But yeah, no, that's basically as far as like anime and manga. That's basically what I've been up to. And I've been keeping up with JJK, Kaiju number 8, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
like all like the reoccurring stuff. Like that's like
yeah,
weekly or
exactly.
bi-weekly. I'm actually super excited because you're talking about Blue Lock in our group chat a ton, and the anime's coming soon. The anime is
Yeah,
coming, it's this fall, right?
I think it's this fall. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
going to be like the next big sports one, right?
I'm hoping so. I think it deserves to be. It really deserves to be. Like I mean, everybody was really hooked for. I can't even remember the name of it now. The basketball one that had horrible animation and it got land based by even the mangaka.
Hmm.
So like that was supposed to be the next hype. But yeah, Blue Lock I think it can do it. And I'm really excited for Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling just got
Oh,
announced for an anime
yes.
too.
Yeah, I think
Even
it's a
though
year out. I think it's 1 year out.
it's 1 year out. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the one thing I'm a little bit iffy on is that they're doing a lot of local translation on some of the names. Because
Mhm.
it's originally like, for those who don't know, Solo Leveling is like a manhwa. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's like a
Man,
manhwa.
yeah,
It's
manhwa,
like
yeah.
it's like a Korean manga essentially, and so it's very Korean. Like everyone's names are Korean or whatever. But I think the people who picked it up are Japanese, and so like it's
Yes.
going to be distributed localized already, so everyone has like kind of like localized Japanese names, which is fine. But like it's the first little thing of where it's like, okay, well here's the first change, and it's like, okay, well what's next? What else are you
I,
gonna change?
Yeah, and I think it's already been confirmed that the setting also isn't in Korea either. It doesn't take place in
Oh,
Seoul, which is a
mm.
big the fan base is like I'm on that subreddit. I was like, we were all like reading like it along when it like ended and everything like that. But that Reddit subreddit went like bloodthirsty really fast once basically yeah, you had all the localization changes. Now that being said, the artist like I to my understanding signed off on all of these changes before he like sold the rights. Unfortunately, he actually just passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage, which is a sin. He didn't even get to see like his big project kind of get animated. But yeah, it's by the sounds of it, it was like a consensual agreement, everything like that. He wasn't like bullied into it or anything. So hopefully it still turns out good. But yeah, the fan
Yeah.
base is a little pissed. A little pissed.
What I'm hoping for is like, if it is so different, to like disconnect a little bit from the original, because like at this point, Soul Leveling started as like an online web novel, and that online web novel is already very different than the manhwa. Like they're very different. Like
Yeah,
people criticize the manhwa for being way too different than like the original like web story, and so like now we're like two steps removed from it. So I think we might be in the point of where we have to kind of like disconnect almost from the source, because like the core story is still going to be there, and it's good. It's real good.
yeah, it is really good. Even without all the tweaks and everything like that, like the idea, the premise at its base is still really good.
But with all that being said, though, let's get into some meat. Let's get into what we are here for, because we're here for some My Hero Academia talk. And today, I actually want to talk a little bit about like a little bit of a meta topic, I guess, about My Hero. I want to talk about Horikoshi, the man that we love. We love Horikoshi. He's great. He's wonderful. But what the hell is he gonna do after My Hero?
What is he gonna do, man? Yeah, what happens to every great mangaka when their big series like wraps up? Like, what happens? You know what I mean? Now that being said, I'm trying to think, and I'm like, what happens to these guys? I know, like, I'm trying to think. So the mangaka that I'm like familiar with, most of them like they die. You know, like it is
Yeah.
it's usually like an abundance of health issues. My favorite series that got me into like manga and anime, the mangaka became like it was like he was a massive pervert. So like that does it's not good. The mangaka for Rurouni Kenshin, just go read up on it if you want. But yeah, no, like that was it was a pretty big hit. It doesn't seem to be good for anybody. Like like it doesn't seem to be good. We just talked about the artist for Solo Leveling. Kentaro passed away a little while ago. The manga for Berserk. The manga for Hunter x Hunter, whose name escapes me, but we just said it like in pre-show.
Yeah, he's the only one that I know has had like multiple good series, but like so he did Yu Yu Hakusho and then Hunter x Hunter, but like now even he is having like a lot of big problems like health wise, and it's very strange because the way it goes is either you get a series and it's so successful that you just have to stay with it. You just have to stay with it because it's like, all right, well, I've been getting paid like pennies for decades now, and I finally found the thing that makes me money. It's like, all right, well, I don't want to try anything else because like even if you have a hit series, like a lot of these people weren't getting paid that much. Like they're
Yeah.
they're doing well, but like for someone who like has like some of the biggest icons in the world, they're not like millionaires or anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say where's is it Kishimoto Masashi, like the manga for Naruto?
Yeah.
Like where is he sitting at with like financially like stability? Like is he doing okay? Like I'm assuming so. Naruto is like one of the biggest icons in the world as far as like anime and manga, right? So I'd hope he's doing well.
Yeah, and it's just like the way that like distribution rights and like IP laws worked like around a lot of these, they've kind of gotten the shaft on a lot of it. So like I don't know how much of the royalties he actually sees. Like I like he's doing fine. Like he's definitely not like begging for change or anything like that.
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
definitely not like I also think it's like a cultural difference too because like in America, if you own the IP around something, you get paid. You get paid big bucks as long as you
Yeah.
make sure that you like you're not signing like your rights away or anything. Like people are getting absolutely paid, so it's like definitely like a huge like difference, I guess, between the two. But like not only that, mangaka just can't replicate success very often. I mean, like the one that we talked
Yeah.
about with Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter is like the exception to the rule because most of the time uh these concepts around like a story are really like flashes in the pan, right? Because like Horikoshi, for instance, he did I can't even pronounce it off the top
It's
of my head, but the
I
zoo.
do, oh yeah, there's the zoo and there was also Barrage was the other one he did,
Yeah, and
which was like long ago.
yeah, and both are considered like not great. Like they're fine, and like you can tell like his writing is there, but like the concepts themselves just kind of fall flat. And I think that's what like the important bit here is like with My Hero, Horikoshi can be mediocre sometimes, and it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
but if you start out a new series and the concept's not great and you don't have the best writing, it's just gonna fall flat instantly, which is like the reason why everyone has a series and then they just don't go anywhere. And so like it's really tough because you write a hit series like My Hero, Naruto, whatever, and it's so big and it's so good because of the concept and the characters, and you get into the groove of it, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna do something else, and you're like, how do I top that? Like, what do I even do at this point?
Where do I go? Yeah, exactly, right? Like what do you do at that point? Like
Yeah, because like for Naruto, right, it was like, all right, well, I did he do Boruto? Like, did he write
I,
that, or did
I
he
don't
just
think
pass
so.
it to someone? Yeah, he just passed it to someone else.
Yeah.
But like, could you imagine being him and going, all right, I gotta follow up Naruto, I guess.
I think, and now I might be way out on left field in this, but I do remember this being a conversation within my friend group because a lot of them, the only anime they watch is Naruto and then into Boruto, right?
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure Masashi got a hold of like the writer for Boruto and like strangled him because like he was so unhappy with. And I think it might be Masashi doing Boruto again.
That's
I
hilarious.
think, yeah, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I do remember that being a conversation.
But I mean, like, you even look at some of the greats, like Toriyama, right? He did Dragon Ball and then was like, all right, I'm not gonna do anything else besides Dragon Quest. Or
Yeah,
he did like some of the art and stuff for Dragon Quest, but like he didn't do anything else, right? He's just like, all right, Dragon Ball's my thing, right?
and
And
that's it.
it's really tough. And the thing that is giving me a little bit of hope though is the artist for or the writer and artist for Chainsaw Man. In between the ending of the first Chainsaw Man part and the second one, he wrote like three one shots. Like three, all of them are like 50 pages. They're really big. They're all on Shonen Jump. So if you want to read it, you can go to the Shonen Jump app. But they're standalone. They're outside of the Chainsaw Man world, and they stand up. Like they're really good on their
Okay.
own, which definitely gives me a lot of hope. And I think that's really important for artists to do is to make sure that you're writing a lot of stuff because like you get into the mode of where you're like, all right, well, I have to make the next great series. That is such a big task, right? It's like, oh,
Yeah.
where do I even go from here? It's like it's really important to have those small projects to test things out. So like the things, because like if you read Chainsaw Man Part Two, which just started kind of recently, you'll see a lot of concepts that are from the one shots of where you go, okay,
And he's
I understand what he was doing there of like he's testing some things out. Like he made a story that stands on its own and it's really good, but he tests out little concepts or he tests out like certain drawing techniques. And I think that's the way to do it, right? Because you look at a lot of musicians. I think this is a really good parallel. Like you look at musicians and a lot of times they do side projects. They have albums that are maybe weird and they're not as good, but they keep putting stuff out until like
yeah.
you find that groove, right? Like you have a smash hit, and like even in that kind of concept and that kind of model, you have people who do one hit wonders and never come back again.
And that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But if you keep having the volume of stuff come out and you keep changing and iterating what you're doing, like eventually you can capture that success again. But if you say, all right, you got the biggest manga in the world, write number two, you're like,
What do I do?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, I was just thinking too. I was like going through like mangas who've been incredibly successful. Like, has the manga for Demon Slayer done anything else? I don't
no,
know if they have or not. I think they've.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Yeah. It is definitely very, very few artists, authors who've done too much after.
Yeah.
But so the reason why I want to talk about Horikoshi specifically is because he has been teasing what he wants to do next. He does a lot of authors notes in My Hero. A lot of them are really funny. He talks about like hanging out with other mangaka. But recently he's been like kind of teasing that he kind of wants to do a horror manga.
I and the thing is I think he stylistically he has it. I think it's
Yes.
there. We see that with Shigaraki all the time. Some really menacing, really like especially in the most recent chapters, like there like if it wasn't My Hero, it could be so gory. It could be such a mess. It could be so insane. Like I think he's got the chops for it. I think he could do it.
Yeah. Like you can see where he like gets to the like the border and he pulls back. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the, like Overhaul, right?
Mhm.
Everything with over like conceptually, he just takes people apart. Like he just takes like that's a perfect like gory horror concept right there. And you can tell whenever he does it, he's like purposely pulling back a little bit because it's like, all right, well, it's My Hero. I can't just explode somebody in gory
Yeah.
detail in front of them, right?
Yeah, the man is wearing the weights right now, and he's just like, no, I gotta hold back a little bit because I mean he's writing a shonen, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
you have to, like I mean it does make sense. But again, like yeah, Overhaul, Shigaraki, like even I guess even Stain to some degree, he did some pretty like crazy shit with him too, right? Like I think he like that you can see now. Do I think he's gonna be the next like Junji Ito? Probably not. I feel like that's a really high mark to hit to go from one genre, kill it, and then go to another genre and also kill it. I think that's even more insane than having two massive hits. Like it being able to transcend like genres too and also land. Like I mean, Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter are like they're both shonen, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean like for to do one than the other, I think that'd be nuts. I think he's definitely not going to be disregarded though. I think he can definitely do it to some capacity.
Yeah, and I think Junji Ito is a really good example of like someone who could recreate success too, right? Like he
Yeah.
he is actually one of the exceptions, but his style is different though. So he's not writing big complete series. He's writing like smaller complete series, right? Like
Yeah.
all of his work can fit into like a single book, like each, right? Like you can buy
Mm.
them just by the book and they stand on their own. So like maybe that is the difference. Maybe the difference here is like the difference between like a I don't even know what to call it, like in like in America we would call it like a graphic novel, right? Of like a
Yeah.
complete series of works. I don't even know what you would call like that type of manga, but like that type of manga, the ones that Junji Ito does, they're more
Yeah, like
contained.
Uzumaki and stuff like that,
Yeah,
right?
they're
Like
more
yeah.
contained stories that like have a start and an end that's not like 1,000 chapters, right? So like maybe the issue is like not with like manga artists, but maybe it is like kind of around the concept of like shonen or having these big long series that like have to end, right?
Yeah, and do you think that's just like the culture that's kind of been built up? Is that like these big like I mean, and maybe it's shonen specific where you need like these big, long stories to kind of happen. I don't know, right?
I think the equivalent that you could probably do is oh gosh, this is gonna sound insane, but is there anyone? It's so tough because TV has writer rooms where multiple people are writing, but like if you had anyone like a Matt Groening, right, who did The Simpsons, right? I
Yeah,
guess that's the equivalent, right? Of like, what if The Simpsons ended and you're like, all right, do another big series.
yeah. What's happening?
Yeah,
what do you? Yeah,
like
yeah.
even you look at other like what's the dude that did like Family Guy or whatever? Like even his stuff, it's all the same. Like it's not the same, but like it's all
Formulaically,
yeah,
yeah.
formulaically, like they're all kind of the same. And so if you were like, hey, do something completely different and unique, which I think he did live action, it's kind of like, ooh, not great.
Not good,
Definitely
not
not
great.
great. And so like whenever you have like a series that goes on for a really, really long time and it's like the same concept, maybe that's like the anti formula there, right? Of like you get
Mm.
stuck in this rut of doing the same thing. It's like you can't do anything else after that. It's so hard to break free creatively.
Yeah, because again, it's almost been like ingrained that like this is how you have to do it because this is what works, right? Or
Yeah.
that's what you'd been doing and it was working, right? So,
But if Horikoshi ended up doing like a horror series, what would your hopes for it be?
oh, like are we talking like concept
Yeah, like
wise or like
concept, like what would you like to see out of it?
I like and that's just it. Like I'm not a big horror guy to begin with. Like I've read like a couple Junji Ito stories just because my girlfriend like forced them down my throat and she's like, you got to read this. It's crazy. But I don't even. I hate to say it, but I would love to see all these villains with these crazy quirks like realized and like rebranded kind of thing. Not in like I don't want it to be tied to My Hero at all. I don't want it to be even in the same universe.
Hmm.
But these like the ideas that he has kind of come up with for these various like powers and stuff like that, like base a story around that or something that did that or like I don't even know if it would be like a character or a monster or something like that that use this kind of stuff. But I think that would I like that's where my head goes for him. But I like again, I feel like it's so like it's hard for me to take Horikoshi out of this box and be like,
Hmm.
okay, let's think of him as a horror artist and how would he do that? You know what I mean? Like it's a difficult question. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I think what I want to see is the thing that really like stuck out to me is I think it was in Shigaraki Origin. I think that chapter
Okay.
um, of where he's walking through like his mind. Like it's like all like the floating stuff and like the hands are everywhere and it's like a very abstract. I want that. Like I want this like weird abstract horror, and I think you can blend it in with like the different like quirks or whatever to get like an interesting spin. So I'm thinking like something like think Demon Slayer of where you have like the monster of the week kind of. Like it doesn't have to be monster of the week, but you have like an entity that has a power, right? But think
Mm.
instead of like being like a demon power, it's like more leaning into like Horikoshi's like quirks and how he can make quirks and spin it into like abstract horror, right? Like the thing that really stuck out is like what if like something like in Demon Slayer there's a demon that puts people to sleep, right?
Yeah.
And that's the attack. What if you played that up for like a horror kind of idea? I think Horikoshi can do it because like I said, like having those weird abstract horror concepts, like in some of these latest chapters, like all the hands, right? The
The
layers and
hands.
layers and layers of hands, like doing stuff like that of where it's weird and abstract and spooky, but like lean into it because right now he's held back because it's a shonen with a bunch of kids. You can't kill kids or whatever in shonen,
You
obviously.
can't just do that, right? You can't just.
But free yourself from that. He moves past shonen. He moves past having kids in his story. Lean into it, like the current barriers that he's up against. Push through them. I want to see people explode. I want to see people lose their minds. I want to see people die. It'd be great. It'd be so good.
Take that into context. It sounds real bad. But yeah, no, I do want to see Horikoshi just be like a little like unhinged. I think he's we've been saying this entire episode, like the foundation's there. The foundation is so there. It just, yeah, you gotta let him have the training wheels off and not have be like confined to the shonen story, and then I think he's golden. Like I think he's I think it's gonna like move as like as much as like My Hero, probably not. But I do think you're gonna get a ton of carryover, and that'll be enough to get the first one off the ground, regardless of the quality.
Yeah.
I think whatever he writes next is still probably gonna slap for like numbers, but like how it's like critically reviewed, maybe that might be where it gets sketchy. But regardless of what he writes next, people are gonna eat it up regardless.
Yeah. So right now he's in like pitch mode, of where he is probably going to Shonen Jump. Maybe some other folks, but it's probably because he is already published in Shonen Jump. You're gonna want to go there, and so he's probably pitching to them right now different ideas and concepts. So like, we are gonna get what Horikoshi wants, but also we're probably gonna get a little bit of like what Shonen Jump wants too. The good news about that is they're way more willing to put artists like big artists into different manga. I don't know what to call it, but like they have different runs, right? You have Shonen Jump, you have Shonen Jump Plus, like you have a lot of the different brands of it, right? Some of them
Yeah, it's
are
all under
weekly.
like Viz Media, isn't it? Like it's all under Viz, I think.
Yes, but they're all labeled as Shonen Jump still.
Okay.
Viz is like the publisher of it, but like you have like Jump, Jump Plus, and there is a world where he pitches to them and they go, "This is a good concept. It doesn't belong in Shonen Jump, but we'll put it in something else," which is what happened to Chainsaw Man. Whatever the new Chainsaw Man is in a different run, like different series run than the original one was. Because I think the original one was, I think it was Shonen Jump. I think
It was Shonen Jump. The
yeah,
OG
it
one
was
was Shonen Jump.
it was
Yeah.
straight up Shonen Jump, but now it's in like Jump Plus, I think, which like
Okay.
gives them a little bit more leeway, and things can be a little bit different in this one, which I'm really hoping for Horikoshi. I hope they like let him not make just a straight up shonen kind of series because it can definitely go places.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? And like, I think the biggest thing is too is he's shown that's what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Like, if Horikoshi was just like, I can't wait to write like another story about another another shonen, right? Like, I mean, sick. Like, he's probably gonna do okay at it too. But like, he's expressed very much, and you see it stylistically that he wants to do horror, right? So you want to see the dude thrive. You want to see him be happy doing this because there's nothing more miserable than like finding out that your favorite mangaka is like actually miserable, actually
Yeah.
hates their life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and they're kind of like they've had their wings clipped creatively because of like publishing and everything like that. So yeah, everybody like Horikoshi's like he's a memer too, right? So you want him to still have that energy, right? You still want him to still be himself.
I don't know if I would use that word. Maybe a freak, an absolute freak is maybe how I would describe him. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But I think we did it. I think we talked well into what Horikoshi could do. I think at this point we have to kind of just wait
Wait and
to
see,
see
yeah.
maybe next year, maybe the year after, for what he is going to do post My Hero, because My Hero is coming to an end pretty soon. I think the end. No, not the end of this year, right?
I thought it was either end of this year or early next year. I want
Yeah,
to say
it's-
like spring next year sounds like
within
that
a
sounds
year.
right.
Within
Yeah.
a year, it's going to be done, which crazy to think about. Absolutely bonkers to think about, but I'm pretty sure in the months after that we'll start hearing about what he might have coming next
What he wants to do.
because I would not be surprised if he probably solidified on a series by now. But we'll
Yeah.
see after My Hero, I guess.
I think the man deserves a little bit of a break though. After he finishes My Hero, like the man needs to take like I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe
take a vacation.
take a vacation. Yeah, see
Go
the
to
world a little
America.
bit.
He loves America.
He loves America, and I feel like any like comic book artist over here, like I shouldn't say that. North American comic book artists are like incredibly arrogant. I don't know. I don't know if they know about him. They should. They friggin' should. But yeah, he needs to come visit. He needs to come say hi. Check it out.
But anything else before we wrap up here, James?
No, I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to be back in a position where I can do this again.
Yeah.
I miss this.
Yeah, it was great just like chatting. The D-Gen duo just being back. We're
back.
gonna have another episode with Andrew. Andrew is going to join us, which is going to be the return of all three of us since we did the Vigilantes wrap up. But we're going to be talking some Hero League baseball because the new My Hero OVA is dropping this week coming up, and it's all about baseball. It's either going to be great or it is going to be confusing. But we will see.
Yeah, we just pray it's better than the other OVA. We just hope for that. That's we got a real low bar right now, so you can only go up.
Yeah. But with that, thank you all so much for watching or listening, and we'll see you all next class.